Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. In this video, I'm going to give you a beginner's guide on how to trade using Dex Screener. This is a very powerful tool to track on-chain data in real time. You can find and trade tokens on decentralized exchanges with Dex Screener, and this beginner guide will walk you through all the needed steps you need to know. If you want a more in-depth presentation of Dex Screener showing you all of the features of the platform, I already did another video on that, which I will link down below. Go check it out. That being said, let's dive in. So let's start with why use Dex Screener. Well, they're a very powerful tool. Like I said, it aggregates real-time data for 80 plus blockchains. Dex Screener is a one-stop shop to spot trending tokens. So let's start making sense of all the information shown on this dashboard and start digging in order to get more info from it. So we're gonna go over some of the most important things that you need to look out for when trading on Dex Screener. Right now, we are on the top layer. That means that we're looking at all tokens in all the blockchains they do track. You can see that here in the dashboard we have first the symbol of the blockchain where the token is deployed at, then the DEX, then the token icon. Then you have the token liquidity pair, price, age, transactions, etc, etc. Now when I say we are at the top liquidity layer, it's because we haven't chosen a specific exchange or a specific blockchain so far. And we can do that very easily from the left side menu. So for example, they show all the top blockchains in the top of the list. So you see Solana, Ethereum, Base, Binance Smart Chain, so on and so forth. You have Suiton, etc. Right? The moment you select one, so for example, let's go with Solana. Now it filters everything out of the way and it shows us only tokens deployed on Solana. In all DEXs, you see here at the top of the screen, all DEXs is selected by default. Then you can go and dig in a bit more in Solana's liquidity layer. All of these, in a way, they're liquidity layers because they're blockchains. Each of them will have a different TVL. And then if you want to dig more, even before you choose a specific token, you can, for example, just go and see the ones available on PumpSwap, on Radium, Orca. All of the DEXs, or at least the bigger ones, will be listed here. They have a ton already here, and then if you click the more button, there will be even others. Now right now, these are all tokens on Radium, so you get the idea. One of the things you need to consider when hunting for meme coins is looking at liquidity. Of course, it's more likely for something to moon when they are around big deposits of liquidity. So the blockchain, that's the first thing you want to look out for. Solana is a big one. They have billions in TVL, same as Ethereum. Base, the same. But then there will be other aspects you also need to factor in. For example, the transaction fees on Solana, Base, Binance, virtually all of these blockchains will be very low. Ethereum does stand out because they have much higher cost fees when it comes to that. So if you're working with a smaller bag, you probably want to think twice before hopping into Ethereum and start buying and selling, since the cost of the fees there will be much higher, especially when the network is extremely congested. I experienced paying something in between $50 to $100 just for a single transaction on Ethereum. It's not fun, and they can even be higher than that. The 24-hour volume metric, that also gives you an idea of the type of activity there's ongoing in the market. So let's go through Solana and some of these chains so you can see the difference. 6 billion over that in Solana for the past day. On Ethereum, we're looking at 2 billion. So a bit lower. Base 1.18 billion, but Base is a layer 2 from Ethereum. 3 million transactions in this case. Actually, let's see the transactions here. On Ethereum, they're much lower than on Base. You see, there's more activity in the markets on Base. And then Solana, it has 28 million in transactions. So far, they're much higher in all the metrics. Then we get to BSC, 13, almost 14 billion in volume, 12 million transactions. Binance Smart Chain is also a very trending blockchain for hunting for meme coins actually. Polygon, not so much. You see the volume, 93 mil, 660,000 transactions. Sui probably it's going to be much higher, 156 mil, transactions 245,000. And it's also a very low cost fee blockchain. So you can see how easily you can select through these blockchains and pick a market just based on the overall market activity. Now let's go back here on Solana. Chances are you're watching this and you want to hunt for meme coins probably on Solana. So by default, you're going to have the trending tab filtering your results out. The trending tab is determined by whatever Dex Screen includes in their algorithm. It does include volume, transactions, liquidity, social media metrics, and that will also be considered by Dex Screener's algorithm to come up with these trending tokens. There will still be hundreds if not thousands of tokens listed here, and you wanna weed out the rugs, the scams, dead tokens, and for that you will need to use the filter function. Now if you order things out, for example by age, this will be already some sort of filter. You see it's showing us the oldest liquidity pools. If I click it again, now it's the youngest. And if you pair this information, so for example Popcat is a 1-year-old pool, Popcat paired with Solana, and the liquidity here is double digits, $10 million. So this is not a new token, it's established meme coin, but it gives you already an idea of being reliable because they haven't rugged so far, so they will not rug. If we dig a little bit deeper, we see more information on the token. We see that the volume is lower than the liquidity, but still there's a lot of volume, so you can actually make a profit here yield farming. And remember, liquidity, this is palpable money. This is a real number, it's real money locked into the pool. So if you look at age, liquidity, you get an idea of how reliable a token can be, because also most things will die out in the couple days after they launch. If they do survive a month, a couple of months, probably it's going to be a safer thing. You'll have to look into it. Sometimes they do survive, they're not rugs, but they basically die out. There's not going to be any interest and they will have a volume very, very low. They tank and people move on to greener pastures. Then you can also click here to see the liquidity providers. So this first address with the highest amount of tokens, this is burned, so that's a good thing. Then we have all of these addresses holding a percentage of the token, which is very well distributed. You can see all of these probably they have a max bag, 83.3k tokens. You never want to buy into a token that has a big percentage of their supply in a wallet that could nuke the chart at any point in time. Of course, it's going to be something that if you monitor and if you set up, for example, alerts for that specific wallet when they sell, although for that you'll have to use other software, not Dex Screener. Dex Screener is excellent for you to organize information into watch lists. So you could create potentially a meme watch list, memes on Solana, memes on Base, etc. And you can also set alerts for if the price goes up, so you know, okay, the price did 2x, I want to sell at this point. That's going to be a very useful way for you to use the alert function. The same for when it dips. Okay, this token dipped, it dipped 50%. I want to scoop that, I want to buy in the dip. I think this has a good likelihood of bouncing back. You can definitely set alerts for that as well. You can also choose to see the new listed pairs. This tab will be more risky because the age is much younger. So age is definitely a factor that tells you how reliable something is. If they are too young, the risk will be really, really high. They can rug, a ton of things can happen, but if they stood the test of time, like we just saw with Popcat and many other examples, although it's not likely they will 100x from now on, they will definitely not rug you. And these tokens, these new ones, some will moon, yeah, but it's going to be a really, really long shot for you to get the right one out of these hundreds that are listed. Every single day, hundreds if not thousands of tokens are listed. So these are younger ones. You can also go here and see which one has the higher liquidity. So Pythia seems to be one that has already over 1 million. The same for Elon. So actually, let's look here into Elon. So they have 1.2 liquidity, volume is double than the liquidity. There's a lot of interest from the markets in this one. And yeah, so this is what you don't want to see. So this guy could nuke the whole chart. Actually, every single one of these guys with this value could nuke the whole chart. There's only 1.2 in liquidity. This one has a value which is even higher than the liquidity. So this amount of token allocation they do have could potentially nuke the chart. Even all of these that have very close to 1 million in value on their bags, they could potentially nuke the chart. So let me go with a different candle here because this is a very recent listing. So yeah, it looks something like a honeypot probably, although the audit says here no issues. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would stay away from it just because of this that I showed you. These wallets can nuke the chart whenever they want. You don't want to be someone else's exit liquidity. You could also potentially check out this wallet address with, for example, Arkham and see if potentially they're involved in sketchy plays, in rugs, rugs, etc. Let's go here in Pythia, see what's happening with this one. So this chart is much more organic looking. If you look at holders, now there are still wallets here with a huge allocation that could potentially nuke the chart, but definitely doesn't look as bad as we saw earlier with Elon. So you get the idea of the things to look out for, okay? I'm just giving you the basics, all right? Now, knowing this, you can set your foundation for what the dashboard will show you by applying this information to filters. You can add in minimum liquidity. So let's say I want to go and filter everything out that has under $1 million in liquidity. These will weed out a lot of rugs and scams out of the way, okay? You could potentially also have a max liquidity because that will also take out of the way the more established tokens like Juke, Bitcoin, Solana liquidity pools. Those will have a higher liquidity in the orders of double-digit millions easily in many of those pools. So you could set a max ceiling here for liquidity as well. For example, let's say 3 million. The age by default is 24 hours because that's what we were looking at, the new listings. But you could also go with, for example, 500 hours for the pair age because that will give you something that has been around for more than a couple of weeks, for around a month at least. And it did survive that amount of time, so highly likely it will keep on surviving. So we're just setting here the foundation, okay? There's much more things you could refine your filters with, but just these couple of things will make a huge difference. So let's go and see what's going to show us. Let's order again by liquidity. So we get something very interesting here. We have this Michi token, 2.9 mils in liquidity, 1 year old. It's being stable for the past day, not all that much action, 2% gains. So let's see how the chart looks like. This is an old chart. Let's go with daily candles, see how it looks. So yeah, it's at a bottom right now. Potentially, if you look at everything and you go and dig into the website, their Twitter account, the team behind it, and you see it's something solid and they're working on potentially showing some bullish news in the near future, this can definitely be something you want to buy in. Now you're betting on the price to be going up because whatever bullish news might be around the corner. So let's see to all-time high, how much percentage would that be? So 2000% again for all-time high. If we go to this peak, 1000%. So if we zoom out, I mean, we saw a couple of peaks here, both happened in 2024. So this is a meme coin that can potentially run up again and catch at least, probably this top here won't be something really hard to hit again, which would be 400% gains if you are able to hold until that top. If that top comes to be again, it's always going to be a betting game. In any case, these are the main filters. Liquidity, definitely you want to look at that. That's real money, that's on the pools, it's on the market. Transactions also show you the activity, the interest from the markets, the same thing with volume. Age will also show you some things that are more or less risky, it depends. The older they are in crypto, the best. If they survived for a month, a couple of months, a year, if they survived the year, likely they will come back again. So there's a lot of options here. Probably you heard about some of this like Mog, Titcoin, Pengu. They are at least 1 month old and liquidity is already over 1 million. So all of these things would be much more established. But always remember, the younger the token is, the riskier it gets. So let's go here and let me sort out. So you see, there's definitely tokens here that have been around for a whole year. And these ones, they don't have a lot of liquidity, but the volume is higher than the liquidity. So potentially, if you're looking to yield farm, this can be good options, all of this. This one even did 1000% in the last day. So more established tokens that have been around the block, and 1 year in DeFi is an eternity. So check the whole thing, go into the token, see the liquidity, is it locked or not? So it's still going to be very risky, but safety wise, I mean, they've been around for a whole year. So at least you know it's highly unlikely that you're going to get rugged with something like this. But here on the tokens page, this is where you want to go analyze it, check the price chart. Check metrics like liquidity. If the liquidity is especially low, you gotta be cautious. Now we could also go and see the highest gainers for the past 24 hours or a different metric. So you see this one just made 4 million percentage. They have more than 500,000 in liquidity. It's only 3 hours old. So let's see how this looks. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one, although there's no issues with the audit. Let's see the liquidity providers. So everything is burned in this one. Okay, this is a new listing, but it has no links for website, Telegram or Twitter accounts. So I probably would stay away from this. Now, if you want to buy directly from Dex Screener and start trading from this dashboard, you can. You can use for that your Phantom wallet, your other Solana wallets probably will also be accepted here. For example, let's go here with Skate. I just chose this as random, but you can see here there's a buy and sell button. If you want to buy, you can even set up a specific amount of Sol for you to spend on this buys. You can only use Solana to buy from this dashboard, okay? And you should also pay attention to slippage, set up your slippage accordingly. Lower liquidity pools will need you to increase your slippage because your buys will have a higher impact into the pool. So it's necessarily more risky to do that. And that's also why it's important to choose liquidity at around 1 million at least. But then you can see here that you can connect your wallet. You could also set up some trade settings here for priority fee. The higher your priority fee will be, it will help you speed up the confirmation of your transactions because you're getting ahead in line. All the people that do not pay for this priority fee or pay a lower fee than yours, they will stay behind you in the line, okay? And also, you probably want to turn this on, front running protection. You can then save the settings and they will be set for however time you want. If you want to change it again, you come back here and change it. If, for example, if you want to buy tokens on a EVM chain, you will also be able to do that here by clicking into Connect Wallet. You connect your wallet. You can even sign in, by the way, with your Google or Apple accounts. And this will enable you also to create watch lists, set price alerts, but you will not be able to buy unless you connect your Web3 wallet. So you'll get a notification on your wallet. You must sign, confirm. Now if I want to buy, for example, let's say Pepe, straight from this dashboard I can. I click here and then you see the button here. It's a bit different. On Solana you have the buy sell. With this one you can only trade on the DEX. This goes to show that although you're using Dex Screener, you're still trading on the liquidity pool on the exchange of where the token is listed on, is deployed on. So for example, you'll see here you can choose to trade on Kyber Swap. Kyber is a DEX aggregator. You can also trade on Matcha. This is an exchange, or on Uniswap, which is also an exchange. Whatever your choice is, you click connect, you connect your wallet. For example, right now I'm using Rabby, I select Rabby, and I could potentially start buying Pepe, just like so. I would input an amount and then click swap as if I would be interacting directly with Uniswap, which actually I am, because this pop-up window, it allows you to do just that. Some tokens will only give you an option of an exchange, for example, PancakeSwap. That's something that it will differ, but you can actually buy directly from Dex Screener by doing these steps. And that's about it, guys. That's your beginner's guide to trading with Dex Screener. Start exploring yourself, trade smart. If there's something you want to ask, let me know in the comments. If you are a Dex Screener user, also let me know what's your favorite feature of it. If you took value from the video, if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more DeFi tutorials. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep exploring crypto. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.